Well, I wanted to write about the community where I grew up. I was interested in that, and it is a community of families, and it's a great place for kids to grow up. And I think that I just immediately heard a family's voice in my head, and they all started talking to me, and I just started to write it down. I do think it's universal. It is about a family in a small Midwestern town in Chicago, and they are a Jewish family, and yet the troubles that they have, I think, are universal, and dysfunctional families are quite universal, and the way that they feel for each other and their communication problems are very, very universal. I was interested in writing about food and matters of obesity for several reasons. One reason is because I love food and I love thinking about food, and they often say that you should write a book that has characters in it that you are really fascinated with, and I think food is a character in this book. I lavish it with a lot of love and attention, and it's fraught with a lot as well. And I was interested in matters of obesity. It is something that, America does have a problem with obesity. It's number 2 in the world for problems with obesity, and it certainly reflected the community where I grew up, and all across America. It was around me, and it was something I wanted to write about. And I think that food is very interesting because it's something that gives you joy, but it can be a vice as well. And if you have a problem with, say, alcohol or drugs, or you smoke too many cigarettes or whatever it is, and you want to quit that, it can go away and you never have to do it again. But if you have a problem with food, it's something that you have to face every single day of your life. And that's where I grew up, and I'd never written about it before. I had always danced around the idea of it. Occasionally I said a short story there. But I read this book called Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout, and she set it in a small town community in Maine. And once I read that, even though my book is very different than hers, it sort of cracked it open for me, and I saw that I could write about where I'd grown up. And I think I was also far enough away from having lived there. It'd been at least 20 years since I'd lived there, and I was ready. I had enough perspective, and I was ready to write about it. So my favorite part of being here has to be the food and the wine, and I've been taken out for all these amazing meals since I've been here, for lunches and dinners, and I have to get used to having a glass of wine with lunch, which is not something we do that often in America. And then I want to take a little nap afterwards sometimes when I drink the wine. I don't know, I've just enjoyed being here. I love Paris. I think it's a beautiful city. It's fun to walk around, and the people have been very friendly to me. Oh, also the bookstores. So many bookstores. There's so many more bookstores in France than there are. You walk down a street and there are 5 bookstores on a street, and there's probably 5 bookstores in Brooklyn total where I live. A little more, but not much. So that's also really great, just to see the French love of literature.